All right, what's up, Turtle Riders? So the other night we listened to the Jen McCabe 911 call, but unfortunately it got interrupted because some guy in England sent pizzas to my house, and that kind of scared the crap out of us. But we figured it all out, and we kind of wanted to redo because the whole thing got interrupted, and it was kind of a really important thing. So what we're going to do right now is a crash course review of the entire 911 call again. On the night of, or on the morning of January 29th, 2022, 3 women, Kerry Roberts was driving, Jennifer McCabe was sitting shotgun, and Karen Reed was in the back seat. Went out looking for John O'Keefe because he was missing. He did not come home back to One Meadows Ave that night, so they went out looking for him because Karen Reed was worried. Little did she know she was about to find something grisly in the same spot where she dropped him off, or the same house that she dropped him off, at least, 34 Fairview Road. So they pull up to the house. Karen is the only one that sees John's body, a 6'2", 217-pound body, just 10 feet from the curb. Somehow she's the only one that sees it, illuminated by the snow. And she gets out. Kerry Roberts gets out of the car. The two of them try to start doing CPR to save John's life because he's still alive. They have no idea how long he's been out there. Nobody knows what happened except for Jen. She knows what happened, but she pretends like she didn't. And they call, or Jen calls 911 from the warmth of her Kerry Roberts' vehicle. So we're going to pick it up right there. So what happened was how we got this audio. This is not the actual 911 audio. This is an incidental audio in which Karen Reed called John O'Keefe while looking for him. She saw his body about, 10 seconds into the call, drops the phone in the back seat and goes over to try to save his life. The audio it picks up is from what takes place in the car, because that audio leaves a voicemail on John O'Keefe's phone. And that's what we're going to hear right now is the 4-minute, 5-second voicemail that was left on John O'Keefe's phone from Karen Reed. It picks up mostly the audio inside the car. You're going to hear windshield wipers the entire time, but it also picks up what's going on outside the car. Now, some people have said maybe Karen Reed, the detractors, not that they're honest people, we should care what they think, but the detractors have suggested that perhaps Karen Reed's faking it, right? This is a big show she's doing here. She's pretending to be surprised. She's pretending to be shocked. Question for those people. If she wanted to make it seem like that, why wouldn't she keep the phone in her pocket? Why wouldn't she keep the phone in her pocket? Wouldn't that be even better? Wouldn't that have created even better audio? Or how did she know that Jen McCabe was going to act as bad as she sounds on this tape? Did she leave it in the car because she knew Jen? If she thought that Jen McCabe was actually innocent and that she was going to be shocked to find the body, wouldn't she know that Jennifer McCabe would be acting with authenticity and genuine emotion? They always talk about 911 tapes. They're some of the most important things played in murder trials, right? Talking about them. But in this one, they want to dismiss it because it makes their girl look incredibly, incredibly guilty. So let's bring it up. Let's play this tape from the beginning and do what we couldn't do the other night because of the pizza delivery guy. Here we go. So that's, you hear the windshield wipers there. You hear Karen Reed in the background yelling, Carrie. That is a woman in trauma who doesn't know what else to say. I've been in this position before. You're kind of looking at your friends like, do something, say something. There's got to be something we can do. We saved this person's life. There's got to be something that we can do. Karen Reed is not an actress. She's a financial whatever. She messes with your money. She is not Julia Roberts. So if this is an act, this is a world-class act that she's putting on right here.
Yes, I need someone to see 34th Fairview Road, Vietnam. There's a man passed out in the snow.
So this is Jennifer McCabe. She says she's at 34 Fairview Road. And by the way, on the official police report, it actually says 32 Fairview Road. She says 34 Fairview Road at least 3 times in this tape. And they still put 32 Fairview Road, which is pretty interesting. They also don't put Brian Albert Sr.'s name on it. They just put B. Albert. He's the only one not listed out. But listen to what she says there. There's a man passed out in the snow. Now, keep in mind, who this man? No. She knows who this man is because Karen Reed has gotten out of the car already and said, "There's John." And they're literally looking for John, and they get out of the car when they see him. So she knows who it is. She said there's a man passed out in the snow. Now, keep in mind, this is a quote unquote man who she was just with 6 hours prior. She was just with him 6 hours prior. At the very least, according to her own story, they were together at the waterfall bar, and she invited him back to that house. She invites him back to 34 Fairview Road to her brother-in-law, Brian Albert's house. She talks to him on the phone at, I believe, 12:17, giving him directions to get there because they went the wrong way. They took the long way down Dedham Street instead of coming from, what is that road to the south of there? They all begin with the C. Crenshaw, I don't forget the name of the road. Either way, he didn't come from that way. He came from the wrong way. So they were taking a little longer. So she just talked to him on the phone. And if you just spoke with this guy 5.5 hours ago, and this is supposedly a good friend of yours, not just some acquaintance, John O'Keefe is a friend, you invited him there, you were insistent that he come there, then all of a sudden, you see him, his dead body, what appears to be his dead body, and you just refer to him as a man in the snow. And now some have said that, oh, she kept her cool about this. It's like, no, that is not showing human emotion. She is not a first responder. She doesn't find dead bodies on the regular. Your first time finding a dead body, you're going to remember it. It's going to shock you to the core. She's acting like she's some grizzled veteran out there, finding dead bodies all the time. So she just calls him a man in the snow. Now, keep in mind, if she's mentioned he's a Boston police officer in the snow, that would elicit a different response from 911. Fear or not, it just would. It just would. And she doesn't want that to happen. So she goes on.
Yeah, I don't know why he did that.
I don't know why.
I can
I don't know why. I think he fell. I think he slipped. I think she said. I don't know why he's there. She makes sure to point that out. I don't know how he got there. I don't know. And I don't know anything about that. And then meanwhile, Karen's in the background yelling, "John, John."
I know. Where's the blanket? I don't see blanket, Carrie. Yes, I need.
Where are the blankets, Carrie? Where are the blankets? Can't find the blankets, Carrie. The 911 dispatcher likely told her, "Are there any blankets? Can you get blankets?" And obviously, they don't have blankets in their car, apparently. Now, luckily for her, she's outside of a house belonging to her sister. The front door is locked, and Jen knows that because Jen later walks into that house and tells police that she knows they keep the front door unlocked for some strange reason. And at any point, if she needs blankets, she can just go in that house right there, run in, grab blankets. At the very least, if you can't reach them on the phone and tell them, you need to get in there and wake their asses up and get them out here. There's a dead man on your front lawn, a dead cop, a dead friend on the front lawn of your property. Get your ass out here. Get your ass out here. But she doesn't do that. She just asks Kerry if she has blankets and then gives up. Just like that. Does nothing to go inside. Does nothing to get the attention of the homeowners. Keep in mind, Brian Albert is a trained first responder. He has seen actual dead bodies before. Most likely. As a police officer of 29 years on the Boston Police Department. That sort of experience, you're going to see some shit. But she doesn't think to get him. She's going to, Karen Reed can handle it. There it is, 34 Fairview Road in Canton again, she tells her. I mean, during this time, nothing, she has the phone in her hand. She can run into the house. She doesn't even tell the dispatcher that she's at her sister's house. You know why she doesn't tell the dispatcher that she's at her sister's house? Because she knows that the dispatcher will tell her to get your ass in the house and get the blankets. Get the guy inside. Get help. Do something. The more the merrier. Get people out here who can help. Don't just leave Kerry Roberts and Karen Reed alone in the snow with this person who's lying in the snow. This man in the snow.
John is 46 years old.
He's 46 years old. I thought that was weird too. Like the fact that she knows how old he is off the top of his head, like the exact age, just kind of weird. It's almost like I don't know what, I'm not suggesting anything with that, but that's just a weird detail to know, like on the fly. Not like, I think he's in his mid 40s, late 40s, something like that. Oh, he's 46. I know exactly how old he is. Okay.
I don't know. He got out of the car and it could be an hour. Carrie?
He got out of the car. I don't know. It could be an hour. Well, if you're Jen McCabe and that you know as a fact, according to police, you saw the car pull up there, Karen Reed's car pull up there at 12:30 and leave around 12:30, something like that. She said it left at 12:45. Sometimes she says 12:40, but she saw the car leave. So why would you think that he was only out there for an hour? It could be an hour. Why would you say that? You know, if you think that Karen Reed dropped him off there 5.5 hours ago and he's dead as a result of that, how are you not blaming Karen Reed? Like, how are you not saying that, well, she dropped him off here 5.5 hours ago? Could be an hour. Could be an hour. She also said that he got out of the car. That's interesting because within the next 10 minutes, the Canton police will arrive at the house. And she tells Officer Mullaney, Sergeant Good, and Sergeant Lank very different stories. She tells them specifically that actually he doesn't get out of the car. She didn't see him get out of the car. She told Good, I believe, that she saw the door open. She told the others that she just saw the car pull up and then drive away. She never once say anything about him getting out of the car. She tells a different story every time. We've seen it in their police reports. Different story every single time. But this time, she says that she saw John get out of the car. And why does she say that? Because she is trying to, first of all, I highly doubt that she thought that she was going to be the one doing the 911 call. A lot of the detractors have said this. How did Jennifer McCabe know that she would get the 911 call? She didn't, obviously. She didn't rehearse it very well. She had no idea that Karen Reed would be calling her at 4:53. That was a stroke of not luck, but who else? Like, of course, Karen Reed is going to call the person who invited John over there. And her daughter has the phone number, or John's daughter, John's niece, has the phone number for Jennifer McCabe. And of course, Jennifer McCabe's up at 4:53 because she hasn't gone to bed after a night of drinking. And so that's great. I mean, Jennifer McCabe, of course, she's going to jump in the car. Now, they had no idea. Karen could have slept in. Karen could have slept till 8:30, whatever. Then John's going to be really dead. And then John's going to be found by the plow driver or whoever, some passerby, whatever. I'm sure that would have been preferable for them, is if somebody else found it. But Karen Reed was actually concerned. Karen Reed's the only one who gave a shit. So she calls Jen and says, let's go find his ass. Where the hell is he? And goes looking and she finds him. And so obviously Jen McCabe was not ready for this phone call. She did not plan this phone call out. She didn't think about the 911 call and what she was going to say. She didn't have her story completely straight yet. She says this before she gives the statements to police. She's so calm. I can't wait to hear the full 911 call. Hear what the dispatcher said. Now Jen's yelling something there. She says 𝗫𝗁 7 times. And I think she says Jen here.
I know, I'm on the phone with the ambulance. I know.
I know that sound. I know that. Listen to the fear in her voice. That is the fear of desperation. That's like a soldier crying for his mommy on the battlefield. That is a woman who is looking at this man who lives with her and she loves, regardless of whether or not she's in a fight with him or not. She loves him. And she's just looking at his lifeless body, and there's nothing she can do. All of her efforts to save his life, it's just not working. And in a desperate act of like, can someone else please save him? 𝗫𝗁, there's got to be something we can do. Jen, please, there's got to be something we can do. What do we do? Like, that is so you cannot fake this, man. You can't fake this. Meryl Streep couldn't do this. This is too good. This is too authentic. This is too real. So there's Carrie. Karen, you got to stop. You got to stop. I can't wait to see the dash cam video. Not that I don't know anything about any dash cam videos, just like I didn't know anything about this 911 tape. But I bet you the dash cam videos are even crazier, because you'll actually probably get to see Jen McCabe in the flesh, and you'll see police, and you'll see first responders, and we'll get to see how all of them respond to this. All of them. But I don't know anything about any dash cam videos. So we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll come out. Maybe they'll be introduced into trial, and maybe they'll make Jen McCabe look like an even bigger monster. We shall see. You're not helping, Carrie says. Fuck off, Carrie. Wait for it. Wait for it. You guys hear that? No one's coming out to help. That's what I hear. Keep in mind. So that is at the 3:37 mark. There is 3 minutes and 55 seconds between when Jen dials 911 and when she calls her sister Nicole Albert at 6:07. There's 3 minutes and 55 seconds. We are at the 3 minute and 40 whatever second, 41 mark, 3:41. So a lot of the detractors will say, well, that doesn't make sense. That couldn't be her calling Nicole. That little whisper that you heard there, that couldn't be her calling Nicole, because she called Nicole 3 minutes and 55 seconds afterwards. And this is only 3 minutes and 41 seconds afterwards. Aha! Gotcha, turtle fucker. You lied. Except I'm not lying. How this works, when this tape started, when this voicemail started, she was already on the phone with 911. She called the dispatch center. You call 911, you get a general dispatch center, a regional dispatch center. They send you to your local town police department when you tell you where you are. So she called, and I don't know if it's in Norwood, I think it is, or Dedham. Then they sent it to the dispatch center, or I apologize, to the Canton Police Department, Canton 911. And she gets on the whole phone with them at about what, the 15-20 second mark. But when the video started, she was being transferred from the dispatch center to there. So that's where they got you. Because remember, she calls the phone. She calls John. Phone ring. While it's ringing, Jen hits 911. Gets him. The phone call begins. The 3-minute, 55-second countdown begins to the Nicole Albert call. And then finally, like 15, 20 seconds in to Jen's 911 call, John's voicemail finally starts picking up this audio. And as you can see there, she whispers something. Listen to this again. A lot of people debate what she's saying here, but it's without a doubt a whisper, and some of the words are undeniable. Some people here, Brian's coming out to help, fucking coming out to help, someone's coming out to help, no one's coming out to help. A lot of different things. Bottom line here is she's talking to her sister Nicole. Not a voicemail, talking to her sister Nicole. And the phrase coming out to help is 100% uttered there. Listen to that. Coming out to help. And she whispers it. So that's two things there. She whispers and coming out to help. Why would you ever whisper in a situation like that? Why are you calling? So you're calling your sister. So that makes sense. If you were actually trying to get them to help, you would call, right? And if they don't call, if they don't answer, then you go inside the house. She claims they didn't answer. She never goes in the house until, like, you know, whenever everybody leaves much later. Oh yeah, by the way, there's a dead body on your lawn. It's gone now. But it's there was a dead body on your lawn. And so she claims that nobody answered that. Of course, that's a lie, because it would have gone to voicemail. There was no voicemail. It would have come up as unanswered. It came up as answered, no matter what Adam Lally tells you. And she tells her, whispers, because she doesn't want anyone hearing this, something about coming out to help. Whatever that is, Nicole hears it and does not come out to help. So she's probably telling her, I'm guessing, that like someone else is coming to help. 911's coming to help. Whoever's coming to help. You don't need to come out. We're good. She calls her 30 seconds after this, but the voicemail ends. So we don't get that one. So let me run through a couple of the quotes here. This is what Jen told. Remember, she said on the tape that there was a man in the snow. That's all. Just a man in the snow, lying in the snow. And she told that the several first responders, police officers, troopers, Canton cops, different things here. This is what she told Trooper Prince from the state police. Jen said that they were approaching 34 Fairview when Karen said, pull the fucking car over. There he is. So there he is. She goes, there he is. There he is. So she knew that it was John. By her own words, she knew it was John. And she still referred to him as a man in the snow. Not my friend is in the snow. My friend is outside my sister's house. And just there's a man lying in the snow. 34 Fairview Road. Okay. Want to come down here and help out with that? Jen said as they were approaching the house, they said, "Pull, there he is." Jen said she did not notice him, but Karen did. Carrie stopped in the middle of the road and Carrie jumped out of the car and went to him. Jen said that John was in the area where she had last seen the vehicle the night prior. Jen said he was on the lawn. There was a coating of about 6 inches of snow on him. That's a lie. There was less than 2 inches of snow. The weather reports and pictures, and if there's a dash cam footage, are all going to show that. Karen threw herself on top of him. He was lying on his back and his phone was on the ground underneath him. Somehow McCabe sees the phone underneath him. Jen said that she called 911. They attempted CPR. Then the ambulance and police arrived. Jen said Karen was hysterical. She was asking people if she had hit him. She makes sure to put that point in there. Do you hear any of that on that tape? I don't hear anything about that. Karen was told to sit in the car. Jen went over to Karen when she was in the car. Jen observed Karen have blood on her hands and face. Karen was holding up her hand saying, I have my period. Did she actually say that? I don't know. Jen said that she told Karen that was not her blood and that it was John's blood from them doing CPR. Jen also stated that while her and Karen were in the back of the car, Karen was yelling, screaming one moment, and then completely calm the next. Oh, see what she's trying to imply there? Karen's faking it. That's what that clearly implies. Obviously, that's what she's doing there. Unlike Jen, who was never upset at all. Karen then immediately yelled at Jen 2 times to Google, how long do you have to be left outside to die from hypothermia, so that Jen can explain to the police why she Googled how long to die in cold. She needs to be able to explain that. Well, Karen told me to do it. Even though there's first responders around who would know the answer to that question, let's ask Jen McCabe to Google it right now in a panic. Yeah, that's what happens. I'm sure a jury will believe that. Let's see how that one plays out in court. Jen was unsure if Karen was brought from the scene by ambulance to the hospital. But that quote about getting out of the car, here's the various things that she told police officers. This is what she told Officer Mullaney. She said, at this time, Saraf asked me to assist in getting witness information. I spoke with Jen McCabe. I asked McCabe who the victim was, and she identified him as O'Keefe. McCabe then explained to me that a group of people had gone to the Waterfall bar in Canton Center earlier in the night. Jennifer stated that she and her husband left the bar at 12 and went to her brother-in-law's house at 34 Fairview Road. McCabe then told me that O'Keefe and his girlfriend, Reed, were invited to the house but never arrived. Never arrived? I asked McCabe if she possibly knew how long the victim had been there, where he was found, and she told me he was dropped off by Reed. Dropped off by Reed sometime between 12 and 1. She told me that she was called by Reed at approximately 5. So here she says he was dropped off between 12 and 1, yet she tells the dispatcher maybe he's been out there for an hour. Interesting. McCabe then told me that she was called by Reed at approximately 5, wondering if she knew where John was. While talking to McCabe, Reed was hysterical, distraught, and repeatedly screamed, "Is he dead? And that's my boyfriend." Sergeant Good then advised Kerry Roberts to take Reed home. After Reed and Roberts left, Canton Control advised officers that Reed was making suicidal comments. Roberts then brought her back to the scene, where Sergeant Good asked me to fill out a Section 12 paperwork and transported her. So there's one version. Next one is from Sergeant Lank. This guy. The guy that at State Police CPAC unit was contacted at 6:38 a.m. Trooper Proctor called back within a few minutes. How about that? It was made aware of the situation. Oh, he already knew. Karen Reed was hysterical and difficult to control. The only statement that she was able to relay was that she did not remember ever being there. She made telephone statements to her parents threatening suicide. She was taken to the hospital and put in section 12. Next, I went to 34 Fairview Road and spoke with the homeowners. So this guy went inside. Brian Albert and Nicole Albert. Doesn't say what time this happened at. Both parties. Okay, whatever. Brian stated that they had seen the victim at the waterfall and had spoken to him. He stated he didn't know the party very well, but he knew that he was a friend of McCabe. Brian and Nicole recalled that the victim had been welcomed to their home but never arrived. When asked about O'Keefe's demeanor or if he had any altercations with anyone, Brian said that he seemed to be fine at the bar and that there were no issues whatsoever. Matt McCabe also stated that he observed the vehicle pull out in front of the house, but never saw either of them get out. He also reiterated what Brian said, that he seemed fine at the bar. By the way, I don't understand why they all do this. They all make it seem like they were just getting along fine. Shouldn't you say that they were arguing? That's still never made sense to me. It's like, if you were going to get in a fight, if you want to make it seem like they're mad at each other, be like, yeah, she came up to me and was like, he's such a cocksucker. Or he came up to me and was like, this bitch is crazy. She's trying to kill me. He can't deny it. He's dead. Next, I asked Brian and Nicole who was at the house that night. Aside from the names already mentioned, the following people were present at some point: Brian Albert Jr., Caitlin Albert, Julie Nagel, and Brian Higgins. They advised me that their daughter Caitlin left at 12:15. Interesting. Remember that time. And picked up by her boyfriend Tristan Morris. They observed 6 drinking glasses, a broken drinking glass, and 6 drops of blood, which were put into solo cups, as per standard of the Canton Police Department. So this is what she told Sergeant Good. She told him that Jennifer invited them to 34 Fairview Road. A short time later, Jennifer stated that she saw Karen and Jen pull up in their car and saw the passenger door open, but she didn't say anything about getting out, but they never came in. And then she saw this car drive off later on. She thought they changed their mind and went home for the night. She thought they went home. So why would you Google how long to die in cold at 2:27 if she thought that he was at home in bed? I walked over to Karen and asked her who she was and how she ended up there. I also placed Karen in the back of my marked Cruiser 682 to warm up. What a nice guy Sergeant Good is. Karen was hysterical and continually yelling, "Is he dead?" I kept reassuring her that Campfire was doing everything they could to save his life. Notice she doesn't mention anything about, like, she doesn't ask, she asks, is he dead? But she doesn't ask, how long would it take to die from hypothermia if he was out there? Because keep in mind, they want us to believe that Karen Reed believes that she accidentally hit him and that he's been out there for at least 5 or 6 hours. So wouldn't she ask Good that? I mean, who would know the answer to that question better? The trained first responder or Jennifer McCabe? Yet she asks Jennifer McCabe that, according to Jennifer McCabe. At this point, I stopped asking questions because she was too upset and unable to keep her train of thought. So she didn't go. She ended up going inside the house, and this is what it says in the report. Later on during the morning hours, Nicole stated that she was still in bed when her sister Jen came into the room and shared with Nicole what had transpired outside. She doesn't say what time that was, but she says that happened. So again, how do you get in the house if the door's locked? The door was unlocked the whole time. Jen knew that. She could have gone in. She waited till after the body was out of there to go inside. Be like, oh yeah, by the way, didn't want to wake you up. Didn't want to ruin your beauty sleep on a Saturday morning. Nicole stated that she never left her home, and by the time she came downstairs, Campfire must have transported both John and Karen from the scene. According to Nicole, there were no fights, arguments, or altercations of any kind, anytime during the night between anyone at Waterfall Bar. Everything was fine. She remembered John talking to her sister. Nicole did not observe any injuries on John while he was present at the bar, and she shared that her and Brian walked out of the waterfall prior to John and Karen, and that the two were still at the bar at the time. So, again, that tape speaks for itself. When they play that tape in court, I can't imagine any juror could possibly convict Karen Reed. That tape is so devastating to the other side. That's why they have nothing to say about it. That's why they're just not talking about it at all. They can't even spin it. I mean, notice they're not even playing clips of it. They got nothing. They got nothing. Not that anything they say matters, but it kind of does, because people like them have the power right now. And even though we are the majority, certainly, we don't have the majority of the power. And that's what we're trying to do here, build a grassroots movement. And they are trying to stop it by criminalizing our speech. But we ain't got no quit. And we're never going to stop. After hearing this tape, this is the most authentic, the worst 911 tape I've ever heard for a person in Jennifer McCabe. It is the most authentic grief and hysteria and trauma I've ever heard from a person in Karen Reed. That video is devastating. And I, for one, can't wait to hear the full 911 call with the dispatcher on it. And if they have dash cam video, that as well. And by the way, why don't they have body cams? What kind of police department doesn't have body cams in this day and age? The Canton Police Department, of course. So hopefully this all comes out in the audit. Their asses are getting audited, and we'll see what happens. All right. Peace, Turtle Riders.